What's up, Sooner Nation? Welcome back to the Sooner Surge. A little exciting times around the corner this week with some commitments coming up. Let's get right to it. But before we do so, click the subscribe button. Be a part of what's happening here at the Sooner Surge. Like, comment on the videos. We appreciate the interaction. Yeah, it could be a great week for Sooner fans, for the University of Oklahoma football team, as there's a couple of commitments in the near future. One specifically this week is Boganowski on the 19th, guys. Let's start with that one.
Yeah, and really, this is a recruitment that seemed to be Oklahoma and Kansas State for a long time now. Really, it kind of seemed like Oklahoma had gained momentum. Oh, I would say over the summer in like June or July, and then Kansas State was able to get back into it, and they kind of just drug out the recruitment for a long time. But I would probably expect the pick to be Oklahoma on Thursday, just seeing all the future casts and the crystal balls. But he's a guy that's really super versatile in which he can play safety or linebacker. Now, I would think whenever you hear that, you would think Cheetah, but I just think that he would be a great safety in Oklahoma defense. He's a guy who's big, physical, and can come downhill and hit hard. And I really think that's someone that Brent Venables would love to use in the run game a lot.
Yeah, I think he's like kind of that textbook Cheetah. I know he isn't necessarily a highly rated guy, low 4-star in the 247 composites, but he reminds me a lot of the guy that Cheetah is now a name because of that played for Brent Venables and Isaiah Simmons. I think he will have a very similar role if the pick is to be OU and Michael Boganowski in that Cheetah role under Brent Venables.
I expect this pick to be OU. I have a great feeling about this. And one thing, yes, Boganowski's dad played at K-State, but also the Venables relationship with the dad is you may say, well, man, if he's a K-State guy, yeah, but there's a difference because Venables is in the mix. And that whole relationship changes. It's a game changer.
Well, it is. And just look at the trend of OU's defense this year, how much better it looks than last year. That's positive. And to me, a big positive. We talked about this probably for 2 years now, about when OU moves to the SEC, how different it's going to be recruiting. Go watch the Big 12 right now. Take out OU and Texas. It's not very good, guys, the Big 12. And if you have the opportunity to play in the SEC compared to the Big 12, it just means more. Okay? It just means more.
Just need to use the conference slogan. That's all you need. Michael Boganowski announces that October 19th, this Thursday, the commitment date, a few days following OU's win over Texas. I think that means something it means more, like Jay just said. That's not a coincidence that he just happens to announce following a massive win over the then number 3 ranked team in the country.
Yeah, and the second guy let's talk about is Grant Bricks. Look, we talked about him last week. It is hard to tell, when something is going to go down as far as the commitment, if there's going to be a commitment date set, how it's going to be. That is still up in the air, but we have seen a few now, crystal ball, future cast, whatever you want to say, on Grant Bricks becoming a Sooner.
Yeah,
Right.
I think
For Grant Bricks.
Go ahead, Jackson.
I was going to say, well, for Grant Bricks, it's seemingly been out to Oklahoma, Kansas State, and Nebraska for the longest time. I don't know if you guys have watched some of Grant Bricks' highlights, but the dude is a mauler. Right? He plays small-town football in Iowa. I think he's from Logan, Iowa, to be exact. So he has that small-town mentality. He comes to work every single day. He works hard. He's mean. He's physical, and honestly, I think he's a guy that you could potentially see Bill Bedenbaugh turn into a first-round pick if he just commit to Oklahoma. I think he's that good of a player.
Well, guys, Bill Bedenbaugh early on was kind of talked about not getting much. He's got a chance to turn this recruiting cycle into a huge get, just a huge bunch of guys that he's going to be pulling in here at the end. But Grant Bricks, when we last did a video on Grant Bricks, we thought it was trending OU's way, and that was with one future cast in. Now there's been 3 or 4. You had Josh put one in. from Scoop. You had a Nebraska insider put one in, I think, yesterday or today. So things are looking great in that. And usually, I mean, just if you go back, if you follow recruiting very closely, I don't follow as closely as a lot of people, but I know this: when the crystal balls and the future cast start rolling in something like this, commitment could be very soon.
Yeah, I expect a commitment very soon. And like you said, Bill Beadenbow has a chance to get a hat trick here, guys, with Akinkumi, Grant Bricks, and then Eddie Pierre-Louis. I mean, you got really a chance for a hat trick when people thought, man, what's going on with Beadenbow?
Yeah, on Grant Bricks, one of the most interesting prospects on just like Jackson said, he is a mauler. Great football player, great lineman. I know 5 stars aren't handed out across the offensive line very often, but he is one that probably should be with that rating. Also, he doesn't really have halftime in his small town football. He's the band director. He's performing with the band. Like, that is crazy. I know it's every now and then, especially here, you'll see a football player play in the band. It's very rare. It's usually not a star. Now Grant Bricks is a top 100 player, and he also is one of the band directors. That's impressive.
Yeah.
What that tells me, Hunter, I was in the band, and I promise you, no one directing a band is short of intellect. This guy is a smart dude,
And leader.
and that's always good. And a leader, and that's always good on the offensive line.
That's right. And something with Grant Bricks is honestly, I think with the future cast, I would maybe put a little bit more stock into them than if you see for some other players, just because things have been so quiet there. And now whenever you see momentum like this start to build, right, I think you can maybe put a little bit more trust into what you're seeing just due to the quietness and really the uncertainty in his recruitment.
Yeah. And, Jeremy, you had briefly mentioned Eddie Pierre-Louis. Interesting thing about that is you got the 2 teams that were fighting for him. They play this weekend. I wonder the chances of him making a visit this weekend.
Yeah, that would be huge. That'd be interesting for a recruit. I know it's happened before in OU Texas stuff to visit on one of the sides when they're down to those 2 schools. So to visit there, I don't know. Some people would maybe be opposed to that, honestly, because you wouldn't be able to interact with that other school. Like, when you're on a visit at OU, like, that's it. Like, they're making sure that you're not going and talking. I know OU ran into that issue at TU with Danny Okoye, Devon Jordan. Like, you couldn't have them guys visit for TU and be able to recruit them. TU was not going to allow that.
Well, if he does show up to Norman, Oklahoma, there's a good chance he's going to see the O-line mauling and demolishing UCF's defensive line because they are bad. You mentioned a guy in Devon Jordan, Hunter. If Danny Okoye is one in the state, Devon Jordan is not far behind. And Devon Jordan would say he is one. I've seen even in some interviews. This is would be a huge get for the University of Oklahoma. His recruitment's been, I don't know, I'll let you talk about maybe a little bit of what you guys know in the recruitment.
Hey, real quick on him, just from what I've watched on him film-wise and what Gentry Williams is doing at OU, he's kind of, to me, I haven't watched a ton, but he's kind of along that same line. To me, he's can be a pure shutdown corner, physical player.
Yeah, I've watched him a few times. Few games I've watched, at least this year. I saw him a few times last year. The ball wasn't thrown his way. He was going to make tackles on the other side of the field to other receivers, getting off shedding blocks to go make those tackles. The ball wasn't. He's shut down. And like Jeremy said, like, if Danny Okoye was not in this class in Oklahoma, he would be the number 1 player in Oklahoma. It's not a knock on him at all. It's just Danny Okoye is that good. That's why Danny Okoye is number 1.
That's right. And speaking, I got to see him play actually over the summer in kind of like a team scrimmage event. And he just really, he just stands out. Like, his physicality is there, Jay, as you said, some of the Gentry Williams comparisons. He's great at tackling in the open field. Really, he doesn't back down from the competition. He's not scared. He has the mindset that he's going to win. And right, I would say that his recruitment has been down to Oklahoma, Alabama, and TCU, as I know of. But, it's just really, it's kind of like, man, if Jay Valai could land a guy like Devon Jordan, you talk about what he's done since he's got to Oklahoma, having the chance to have Eli Bowen, Jeremiah Newcomb, and Devon Jordan all in the same cornerback class. Like, that's extremely talented.
And one thing going for Devon Jordan in any corner is young guys are playing at the University of Oklahoma, guys. This isn't somewhere he's going to have to go there and, buy his time for a few years. I mean, they will play the young guys, especially someone who's physical and can shut someone down, because we're seeing it firsthand with Gentry Williams and some others.
Yeah. There's an open spot for next year. Woody Washington is sadly out of eligibility, so somebody will have to step up to fill in for really big shoes to fill in Woody Washington.
Well, and you know what? These guys we've talked about tonight, what's interesting is every one of them, their recruitments are a little bit similar as far as the quietness of them. They're not a whole lot of flashy that you would see all over Twitter, stuff like that you've seen from other people, and they're all highly rated guys. It's very like, who knows when all these are going to commit. We know the Boganowski's the 19th, right? But other than that, there's no commitment dates that we have heard for sure.
And here's the deal. You're exactly right. We don't know for sure some of these, but we do know one thing for sure. When there's something out or we get any news of anything, we will report it. So make sure you are subscribed to the Sooner Surge. Look, we will make sure we have the content for you, the video content, the discussions, YouTube lives, you name it. We got it. Just dropped a basketball preview as well, because that's right around the corner. So, yeah, subscribe. Great news in the recruiting world, I think, this week for Sooner fans is, I think, for sure, one more commit, possibly 2, 3. Who knows? So, yeah, till next time, guys. Boomer.